Welcome, Scorpios. This is your reading for August. Thank you so much for tuning in and being here. So, Scorpio, these readings up so far, like this energy for August has been really like fire, like it's been intense. It's straight up Leo. But it's like Leo on steroids or something. I don't know. It's intense, really intense. But it's all good. It's all good because I'm really allowing the guidance to just come true and to just follow it and not trying to bring on too much Saturn, too much structure, just going with the flow and whatever I'm sensing I should follow and do and say and share, I am. So it's really raw. It's really this month it's it's even more intuitive basically than my normal readings, which are already quite out there. So anyway, Scorpio, for you, I really felt guided to pick up this book instead of the deck, which is a tarot book, which is very, very thick. It's a hardcover. It's a really, really, really beautiful book. Anyway, we're not talking about the book. I'm not promoting it over here, even though it promotes itself, okay? Look at the aesthetics of it all. Also, when it comes to you guys, like this month, like I don't know, like there's just a lot of color coming through. Just warm tone colors, a little bit of let's say Mexican city vibe energy. I don't know if you guys are from Mexico, are traveling to Mexico, have a connection to Mexico in whatever shape or form. It's just an energy, the vibe, the food, all the colors in the food and the different taste ranges and things like that. Just feeling and craving life in general and taking life in a broader perspective almost. Like that's what I'm feeling. Living life, enjoying life. Okay, so basically, I'm going to pick this book up and I'm just gonna open it in any page. It often connects, sorry, one sec. It often connects to one of the tarot cards. Each and every page has a single connection to one of the tarot cards, major arcanas. So I'm just gonna open it up. I'm just gonna tune in for a little bit. I'm not gonna look. I'm just going to feel it out. I do not know the book well enough in order to know which page I'm opening. Okay. All right. I got one. All right. We have the Hermit. We have the Hermit energy, and once again, it is coming through as like these vibrant colors. Let's see. Wow. You see how the Hermit has such a black and white energy? Sorry, I'm trying to be very careful with the book. You see the Hermit over here? It has like all these black and white art. When for the amount that I've seen so far, not any card has it. And the page that I'm opening it up for you guys, which was one page forward, actually has all colored Hermit cards. Meaning that you guys are coming into more of like a being present and in the moment and understanding the importance of, especially after a period of time where there's just so much going on, where there's so much external energy. The Hermit comes back from an external period and comes back into a form of, I'm hearing hibernating, which is very interesting, but comes from a form of external being out there, but almost passively being out there, just getting through the day, just getting through the morning, just getting on work on time, just getting the kid to school, just getting doing this, just this, just the laundry, just the cooking, just getting them into bed, just getting up, just passing through, just sending a birthday card, just a lot of just doing this, just doing that. I'm just getting through the days. And I'm holding my breath, almost what I'm feeling with you guys. till I can get that moment where I can sigh, release, enjoy, be, and trying to be present in the moment and taking it in and connect to an inner part within myself. That is the most important ingredient in order to just get it through all those other days and hold your breath, right? And that's an energy that I was feeling for you guys. Well, you guys have just had the full moon in your 4th house, which does bring a little bit more of that awareness of that harmonious energy, but also, you know, 4th one's really like coming together and feeling the presence of people that are important to you or things that are important to you. Feeling that closeness, that connectedness. It is about coming together. It's really about that 4 of Wands energy of just being present in the home that you've built, finally reaping the rewards after pushing through and getting through. And the thing is that for a lot of you guys, it is kind of sort of in the shadows. It is kind of sort of hidden what it takes to be so strong, what it takes to be so aware, so lucid almost, and so used to staring certain really hard and deep emotions right in the face, like eye to eye, and coming home from that, or coming home to that even, because that is sometimes what it is out there. You're holding your breath until you can't, and you have to take that deep breath in, and with that you feel everything. I think that this card really in some way, shape or form beautifully represents that, right? With the shell and the pearl, and just she's completely in need of feeling the protection of the shell to discover what is all within, what is all hidden in there. And that's the thing with you guys as well, is something that I was like meditating on early on. It's like a lot of people who are suffering from either anxiety or some way, shape or form, whether it's severe or it's just with certain aspects of their life. Sometimes it's just purely like really heightened when it comes to social anxiety. For others, it's this fear of failing, it's fear you know, of many different things that we can hold fear for, and then brings about these you know, these anxious feelings and these episodes of severe anxiety sometimes even, and it just kind of just stops us from really truly living and kind of puts us in a surviving mode. But the thing is, a lot of people that deal with some level of anxiety start at one point to fear the fear, to fear that they're going to feel fearful. And a lot of times when it comes to social anxiety, people have fear of showing that fear in public, that people can see that they are going through that and they are experiencing that room differently than everyone else in their minds. Often everyone else who is at peace and calm and confident, and they are not, and they feel this fear and they're afraid that it might be seen, they might be seen as different or as not normal, and the fear of getting a fear episode, almost fear of getting the anxiety, starts to fear certain circumstances to come about and for them to show up. And so then they're having to go through this fearful energy before they go to the gathering, or before they go to a certain work meeting, before they actually have to just simply show up to maybe a birthday party. And that being that such a big, you know, thing could be like a thing for weeks, where it's just lingering in there, you know, it's very intense. And the thing is, what I found so fascinating with a lot of Scorpios and the energy in general, and this could be rising, could be sun, is that it's really hard to see whether you guys are afraid of something or not. It's really, I think in some way, shape or form, it is even sometimes slightly hidden from yourself in certain circumstances, and then you find yourself actually already in the room and present, and all of a sudden there's something comes up and you feel a form of excitement slash fear slash anxiousness. Don't even know really what it is. It's just a feeling. Some of you instantly sort of mute that or transmute that to sort of a adrenaline energy, which then kind of puts you into a driver's seat again. That's not for all, but the thing is, with a lot of Scorpio, it's really hard to see from the outside in that you guys are struggling or having fear of something, or not feeling confident in doing something. You guys have this energy of just, but that's that person, that's the Scorpio. They know how to do it. I don't know. It's like, they just do it. And a lot of times people may put this label on it, like you guys aren't never afraid or scared, or fear of failing, or that you have doubts, or that you have those restless nights and that you can't sleep the day before, and like all of that. Like, it's really hard to read, and with you guys. And sometimes, like I said, it is that by itself, fear of looking vulnerable. But I'm sensing that by itself is like that strength that sometimes helps you make so many miles in life, but sometimes it just completely suffocates you at the same time, because people have these higher level of expectations from people who come off that strong. And because you come off that strong and people have so many faith in you and in your abilities, you start to also sort of have faith in that, but then you might find yourself doubting it, and that is a very confusing place to be, because the level of empathy and understanding towards the Scorpio is just completely different than any other zodiac sign. And that's just the truth, and it's the same thing. And obviously maybe I'm not a one to talk about necessarily representing that in some way, shape or form, but I do want to point it out because it's something that I'm reading in the world, right? It's something that I've seen almost like, for example, with women of color from whatever basically background and culture. It's just a lot of times women of color, they're really literally seen as they do not and this is just beyond me, it's really beyond me, seen as they are not experiencing pain the same way as a woman of any other color would, which kind of puts me in a position where I would I feel so I feel so strongly about these type of things. I feel like that sometimes just goes beyond me. It just I cannot for the life of me understand these type of ways of thinking and perceiving it. But you see it happening, and you also on top of that see it happening when it comes to women of color delivering babies, and the chances of all the risks that come with that because of lack of understanding and support of women of color when it comes to going through those pregnancies and things like that. And I already told you guys in the beginning, this is just a reading, and I'm allowing things to come as they may, as I'm channeling them. And obviously it's a little bit of a part, but it almost like a connection that fell right when I said with you guys that it's really different to like, it's really hard to sometimes see the fear of the insecurities of a Scorpio, which puts automatically more pressure on you guys, which also takes away slightly, or maybe for some of you a lot of that empathy and that understanding at the same time, having a lot of different type of expectations from the strength that you guys show into the world. And that kind of I felt like kind of there was a link also towards women of color when it comes to that. And maybe it's a combination of both, but it's totally completely separate as well, separate issues. But I felt that same thing, and I think that is there. Still have a lot to learn as humanity. We still have a lot to evolve and grow in, and I feel very strongly about that. I mean, honestly, I am really big advocate for women in general, like all women, you know, but just in general, every single soul out there, you know, basically. I guess I'm a humanitarian, which I'm supposed to, strive to become, as my North Node is in Aquarius indeed. So I'm supposed to move toward, that bigger collective energy. So yes. Anyways, we are digressing, I guess, some way, shape, or form. I just wanted you to show the artwork of this one. Just one more of the Hermit card for you guys, and then I'll read the message that come with this card. Look how beautiful this artwork in the blue. I'm sorry for hitting the mic if you heard it. Look how beautiful with the cherry blossoms as well. You find a lot of cherry blossoms around Scorpio's buildings and houses and places they intend to go to or buy, or that artwork though. So insanely beautiful. I love how they integrate the shell. I mean, honestly, I could just sit here and go through this book for hours and hours because of this. I already have a couple new decks basically on my wish list based on the artwork, because it's all actually existing tarot decks that obviously normally may not would get to know of or familiar with, but sometimes they just find you. All right, anyways, let's another one of this is also one of my favorite decks. This is again the She-Wolf tarot deck that's also now on my list. The artwork of that is used a couple times with different cards actually. Amazing deck, amazing artwork. Okay, so I'm gonna read from this book. Obviously it is your 12th house, Virgo is you guys' 12th house, especially if you are Scorpio rising. And so to have a 12th house in such a hermit sign, such a deep sign, that's, obviously one of the reasons why it all happens in your subconscious often. All right, I'm going to read it to you guys. Let me see if I can find the right angle where these letters aren't this tiny. All right. If the hermit seemed about to plunge into the nether world of the unconsciousness, he was certain to encounter many of his own thought forms, and if they bit behind conventionalized symbolism, the freedom of interpretations allow the tarot symbols left plenty of room for the pre-verbal mythographic language of any individual to make its own statement. Some have claimed that this is the whole secret of the tarot, like contemplation in the wilderness, hermitage, solitary contemplation of the tarot could lead to new kinds of insights. Beautiful. All right, here we go. The hermit is both seeker and guide. He searches for solitude, taking the lonely path. He asks for intentional isolation, for solitary meditation. He wanders without fear of the dark and treacherous trail through the mountains of inner discovery. He holds his lantern up to the blackness of his subconsciousness, revealing what was hidden. He demands a reflection, space for growth, the clearing of the cluttered mind. He requires all action to be authentic and aligned to one's own truth. His lamp casts only a small circle of light, indicating that both moving forward and sitting still are demanded in the search for higher self. He asks for seclusion and contemplation. He encouraged pilgrimism, retreat, a journey to sacred lands. He is guided by his own North Star, the voice within, he stops, he listens, he knows that that his destination always is ultimately himself. Boom, mic drop. How beautiful is that? What a beautiful, beautiful way of describing this this insane card. And I really feel this is such a perfect card to get in combination with where we already traveled during this reading. Okay, Scorpio, I hope you guys were ready for this pathway that we took. I kind of slightly warned you guys before you got deeper into this reading, but aside, let me just put the book aside because there's not so much space on this desk. Aside from that, I do want to just get into some tarot and see what comes through for the last couple of minutes. What a card. That's the thing with you Scorpios. I do really feel that you guys are going to find your own sense of journey, of, you know, walking through those mountains, really coming closer to that solitary space within yourself, even if it's really on the surface, in the sense of that it comes in a small form of meditation, in a small form of just taking some time out for yourself here and there, doing the things that you know that bring you a moment of peace, a moment of solitude, because it will bring you so much insight, but also so much connection. And if you are out there and you're going and just getting things done and just holding on for another day, which we all have those phases in life, and even in those spaces and phases we learn a lot, but we can't live there. Like, we visit those places, right? So do we live in those little small moments of solitude and understanding and connection, or do we venture out of there, right? Because the Hermit card was talking about venturing, taking a journey within, visiting his own center, when everything eventually kind of comes from that center. Just as we grow up in life, right? Ace of Cups and Seven of Pentacles. Just as we grow up in life and we get this small amount of years where we are, you know, in some way, shape, or form surrendering to the circumstances we were born into, right? Like when we're 4 years old, we can't really decide basically what type of food we eat or anything. We're not making our own money at 4. I mean, some are, but that is, you know, that aside, sorry. I mean, we are for a small portion of our life, surrendering to the circumstances we were born into, versus we were supposed and meant to experience at a younger age in a certain imprinting. That's not the word. Impressionable. That's the word. Sorry, I heard the word, but then it went away, and I was like, what did I just hear? Impressionable years of our life. And that's, you know, so fascinating, because when we're going through that, no matter where we venture out of that, right? At one point we're like teenagers, and then we think we know it all, and we think we can do it all by ourselves, and then you fall a couple of times and you get yourself back up, and it's okay to ask still for help, and you're learning and you're evolving, but at least you're trying and you're out there. And then, you know, you might find yourself in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, still taking things on, life on, in certain ways that were connected to that home, that center where you were born into, the circumstances that you, you know, were meant to experience. And often, you know, sometimes it leads to wounds, and sometimes leads to scars. But it's the wounding that we have to be conscious about, because those still need to heal and eventually become the scars of wisdom that can guide us to, healing. But when we're walking around with open wounds, the chance of getting infected, it getting triggered, it just, in a negative way, puts us in a position where we can lose base with that part within ourselves. And so then we kind of become lost. And there's no color there. There's really no oxygen there. It's again holding your breath just as long as you can until you collapse and, you wake back up. You're like, oh, I forgot to breathe again, huh, didn't I? Yep, you did. And it's like, oh, I'll try better next time. Here we go again. That's the thing. It's like holding your breath on land. It's like, you can breathe. It's okay. It's enough oxygen, like still, for now. I'm just saying. So, everything in plenty. There's plenty. There's so much. But why is the Seven of Pentacles bringing you so much dissatisfaction? It's almost like I've built this beautiful life, but I really have no time to live it. I really hardly ever even get to see the children or my wife, my husband, or whoever, a partner, because I'm kind of just always working to keep it all together, but I never really get to live the life that I'm building, and how little you actually get to enjoy it. And so then, is it truly worth building? Is it then even really real? Right? Like people say, like that person is perfect on paper, like it fit me like a teeth on paper, but when you meet face to face and there's like literally no connection, no chemistry, then on paper probably would be a great opportunity, or a great person, or a great father or mother of your children, but on paper isn't always the way that it works. And sometimes we do live our lives based on like it looking good on paper, and then we just feel like but there's no chemistry, there's like no connection to this life at all. I mean, on paper it looks great. I'm so happy about it. Right? It's awesome. Looks great on Facebook. I'm just kidding. Just a little side joke. Anyways, but what if it feels so real and it's so authentic and it just feels so good, and you feel connected to it, and it brings you little moments of joy each and every day, but it doesn't look all that great on paper. Maybe in the eyes, maybe the paper is the eyes of other people that put expectations onto you that are really just making you fucking miserable. And admitting to yourself that you're just fucking miserable, with other people looking at you got so much, but you got plenty. And you're like, yeah, was nothing that I wanted, I thought that, or thinking that that's what you wanted, and then you have it all, and then like you don't even either you don't have time to enjoy it, or you just don't feel that this is for you. And so you hold your breath once again, because obviously you won't show that. You won't show it, maybe even not even for yourself, but you start showing it for yourself, and it's like, oh, I will never say that, but this is really truly how I feel, and it sucks. See what the devil as well. It's like, it's just maybe it's already long and more than enough, but then there's still this thing in you that says, but it's not. Gotta keep fighting for it. Gotta keep on showing up at the battlefield in order to protect what I got now. First I had to fight to get what I have, and now I have it, and now I gotta fight to keep it. And it kind of just always feels like this never-ending battle, and it's exhausting. And so with the Six of Wands, it's like all in the eyes of the public, which is really dominant in your reading, Scorpio. all for the grace, all for the love of, you know, in some way, shape, or form, approval, because you do want to do it right. You do want to do it right. Not necessarily you want to look perfect in the eyes of other people, because that's way too short-minded. It's not about that. It's about, you just want to do it right. Like, you just want to, if you're doing it, you want to do it in such a way where you look back on, it's like, yeah, I did do it right. I did do it all. I did combine it all. I just forgot to fucking breathe, you know? So juggling and juggling and juggling, and people around you just look at you thinking, I'll fucking do it, but I don't know how she's doing it. And that's the thing, like, I'm really channeling someone who's like more of like philosophical energy than really spiritual person, because I'm channeling someone. I don't know if this is someone connected to one of you guys who used to talk like this, because it just doesn't make it, you know, I could say these things without using some words, you know, here and there, but it just hits right. So that's just what I'm channeling. So I try to filter them out a little bit more. Because it's like a lot, I swear. It's like, but then, you know, a couple of things aren't that the worst, you know, but still, I want to keep it reasonable. Two of Wands, Two of Pentacles, Strength card. Really, it's like the whole world's looking at you, Scorpio, thinking, how the F is he doing that? He doing that, you know, not gender specific. Even though it is kind of gender specific over here. Not always, I'm just saying this reading just feels really like I'm reading for more very dominant feminine energy than masculine, but that's okay. So Two of Pentacles, Strength, is really understanding that even the strongest liar out there, the strongest liar out there, strongest lion out there needs a break and a moment to be nurtured. So where can you, what is that thing for you, Scorpio, that puts you in a space of grace and humbleness, you know? I'm not saying you guys need to feel more humble, you know? It's not about that. It's about understanding that feeling. For example, for me, it's the ocean. It's like I respect the ocean on such a level where I can love it fully, wholly, but understanding that it would be naive for me to think I could ever completely grasp what it means, what it holds, who it is. But I can love it as a concept. I can love it as a, like a mother. Like you would never completely, fully, wholly get to know your mother. You only get to know a couple of sides to her, and then love her fully for those sides. Right? But like, it's a level of humbleness that I feel when I'm standing on, you know, the beach or in the sand, or maybe with my feet in the water and having the waves come at me. Understanding you can be part of something, but yet it's, you could never, I think that is what it is, Scorpio. It's like you can never tame it. And this whole Strength card isn't about a lion being tamed. It's about the lion taking on a space where it doesn't always have to be out there and hunting and for a prey and all of that. That it's okay that there's a moment where another person is looking out. Because the lion, you see often, you know, it always feels in some way, shape or form like the lion is being tamed, and it's like that the lion represents the fear and all of that. But it's sometimes about understanding when your power is best served when it's in stillness, when it's in first observing the situation and not instantly responding and always being out there, and finding the balance with that, and having someone else do the lookout for a little bit, having someone else take on the role of the king of the jungle. So juggling is what I'm hearing, but it's okay to juggle things, but why not being out there holding your breath versus relaxing and really catching your breath and being in the moment and present and living in black and white and living in color. Once again, that color comes through. It's like you're almost being reminded of what it feels like to actually feel alive. What makes you feel alive, Scorpio? Ten of Swords. You gotta admit that you feel hurt sometimes, or that certain things did hurt you, or you if you have stuff to get off your chest, Scorpio, it's okay. You can. You see with the Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups. I'm fine. No, you're like you have this situation. It's like, I'm fine. Like, all my cups are filled. Yes, but you have 10 swords in your back. You know? I get it. No matter how many swords you have in your back, you're still capable of standing up and everything is fine. I'm just out here holding my breath. I do not need all of that. You know, I can just still get everything I wanted. Sometimes, you know, it's the power of the resilience that could like stand in your way, but you do. You know, you do. Look. With the Seven of Wands, here we are again trying to protect that. The Nine of Wands, protecting that. The Emperor and the Six of Cups. It's like you gotta befriend an old part of yourself. You gotta remind you why you started it in the first place. Because you're already there. You've already arrived where you wanted to go. And so, at one point, going is just the only way to just make it through another day. But you're coming to terms with what actually makes you feel in control, what makes you feel happy, what makes you feel like you're on the winning team. You're coming to terms with that big time. Big time. Like a childhood dream will connect you to that level of prosperity, whether it's prosperity of money or it's prosperity of family and having a village around you to help you out with things, and that you actually feel comfortable with asking for help, which is also prosperity and wisdom. But I feel most of all, it's like prosperity of actually having the time to live, enjoy the life that you've built, to actually live, to, you know, breathe. And with this wand energy, definitely you're getting a sense of spark back that you haven't felt for quite some time. And we already know you're resilient, and we already know you can hold your breath the longest, and we already know you got to go, you know, you got all of that. We already know this. I turned around this card and it's the Hermit. I put it down and it flipped over while I was trying to put it down, and it was the Hermit. So definitely we'll integrate it. So that's when we're like, okay, we already know, Scorpio. There's no need to prove it to nobody no more, and especially not to yourself, because that's kind of the only person you are competing with at this point. So a childhood something, whether it was a dream, a goal, a vision, an aspiration, a wounding, a trauma, learned behavior, a person, a heartbreak, you know, your first love affair, or whatever way, shape, or form, Scorpio, to something, a childhood connection that for some of you was really early years, like 6 up to 8. For others of you, it was more a little bit later on, like 18, 19, when we still have that never-ending energy, you know. It's something to think about, and if you don't know, it's also okay. And I'm hearing again, Living Life in Color, that song. Like that song. All of a sudden comes through. I love that, Scorpio, though. I love that because this house as well is like it's colored. Like you have in Curaçao, which is actually I love those colored houses, beautiful ones. Again, also a little bit, it's also quite Mexican. It's like the pop, the colors. It's so beautiful. It's like a certain countries had such a thing, a certain city. For some, it's just cities or an island, where they do that, and that's actually something to be proud of. And you wanting to live in like a neighborhood where people like color their houses, and then you have like places, and especially when it comes to like, for example, where the area that I'm living in, well, let's say just the country I'm living in, where it's so not done. If you buy a house and all the houses are kind of similar colors, and you're like, I'm making my house yellow. Hello. They will definitely make it so that forever way, shape, or form you'll be forced to like paint it back to like a neutral color like theirs, because they're not gonna allow you to put your yellow house there. And for their basically the price of their house is like to go down because of your yellow house. They're not gonna allow you to do that. Exactly. This is already so much to like worry about. Let's just live a little. Beautiful energy. And once again, remember that you don't always need to be productive in order to get a babysitter, okay? What is productive anyway? If you're doing what you're doing in order to take that moment and breathe and come to your center and come to your senses almost, and actually breathe and stop holding your breath, it makes you a better mother. It makes you a better friend. It makes you a better colleague. Understand that certain things that may seem like a luxury or, not a good enough reason to say, I'm staying home for a day. It actually is the best reason, the most, high and aligned reason that actually gets you even more help. It's true. People will always judge what they don't know. Okay? But it's not about the judgment of other people that you're worrying about, because you already be walking with 10 swords, and it's like, I'm still out here getting my cups, getting my cups, getting my cups, and understanding that even that seems like you're not hurt, you're fine, you're so strong. But I'm just saying, like, you don't need to necessarily survive that way, live that way. You deserve so much more than that. And I do feel with the Ten of Swords really an ending of a cycle of just going through. And sometimes we do have that, Scorpio. We have our times where we just need to push through, when we just need to hold our breath, we just need to put our heads down and get some stuff done. And it's okay. That's life as well. It's the other side of life, and that's okay. But if your life only contains moment to moment to moment to moment to moment, where you can't even breathe, you can't even be like, you know what? I actually watched a movie on that new couch that I got 18 weeks ago. Finally had a chance to actually sit on that motherfucker. Right? Quite comfy. I like it. It's important. You have those movie nights on the couch that you are out there to gain and all of that, right? So, with that said, I think maybe one more oracle card, just because I feel like the angel cards still have a message for you guys. And then I'm going to sign out because ridiculous. We are around 44 minutes. 44. But yeah, what is time, right? What is time? There we go. We take as much time as we need, and sometimes as little as we get. The cherub, the ace of emotions. This cherub is announcing that a wonderful new emotional experience is coming into your life. Now that's a moment where you're breathing, Scorpio. It says you may meet someone new who makes your heart flutter. Or a current relationship will experience a reawakening. It's also possible that your intuitive abilities will be greatly increased by your open heart. Beautiful. All right, Scorpio, I'm going to leave you with that message. Thank you so much for, if you really are still here, man, you're a real one. So thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate that you're still here and just listening to this, because that means that you are truly, really connected to the way that I'm channeling and who I'm channeling for. And I'm, you know, I just appreciate that. So I'm sending you guys love and light. Make sure that you hit the like button for this video so it gets, you know, can read more Scorpios out there. And you know, make sure that you're subscribed if you're not. Thank you so much. I'll be back soon, but not too soon, because we need some time for this reading to set in. And I'll be back. Okay, bye. Bye, Scorpios. You got this. Just don't forget to breathe, all right?